Happy Martin Luther King Day, Runaways. We're here with a very special guest. Does Princess Powerful mean anything to you? But we have an important topic, an important question. Whose betrayal was worse this week, Topher's or Gert's? Well, stick around because we have a lot to talk about.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz.
Oh my gosh.
What? Very house.
I'm feeling it. Here we go. Oh my gosh. What's up, Runaways? We're here for the Runaways season 2.
Those lights.
After show on AfterBuzz TV. Yes, the lights. Yes, the lights. Giving us the full fantasy, y'all. I'm your host, Ollie Drennan. I'm joined with an amazing female, powerful, driven panel. Yes, we have the magical Mina Wahab with me.
Hey, everyone.
We have the tough firecracker, Chae Jones. And we have the whimsical, infectious Meagan Lynn.
Ooh, I like that. I'm here for that.
And we have the powerful, the beautiful, the talented Allegra Acosta with us. Girl, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my God, anytime.
Welcome
I'm so
back.
Happy to be here. You guys are the best.
Yes, and we're doing like a late belated birthday.
I know, you guys are so sweet. Every time I come here, they always celebrate my birthday. I love you
Yes.
guys. Yeah.
We just have to celebrate. You're our first guest this season. We usually do our initial thoughts about what we thought about the episodes, but we want to know, what are your initial thoughts about? It's been a year. You're on season 2. The show is a hit. So how have you been, girl?
I've been busy. I've been running around, boy. Honestly, it's been really cool because it's been such a blessing. I've been able to meet and just connect with so many people with this comic book character, and just the fact that it's impacting so many people and people are loving it. And season 2 is just such a big roller coaster and another monster. It's really exciting.
Oh, totally. Well, we got so much to talk about. Also, if you're tuning in live chat, get those questions ready for Allegra. We'll try our best to answer them. We have so much to talk about. We're talking about episodes 5 and 6, Rock Bottom, and Bury Another. So let's get to our first topic, which is Topher. So,
Topher, yes.
Topher, you have such strong ties to the character of Topher. So he kind of did this kind of betrayal, and it was huge. So girl, we got so much to talk about. And I love the juxtaposition between Topher's kind of addiction to the moon rocks and kind of Gert's, I don't want to say addiction, but she needs her pill. So we're seeing like these totally different sides. So
for totally different reasons.
Absolutely. So what are your guys' thoughts on Topher's arc with Molly? Because it got really emotional in this episode.
For sure. I think this season Molly entails to find someone who is a familiar face, something that she can relate to, because everyone is paired up in this season. You have Gert and Chase, you have Nico and Karolina, you have Alex and his computer,
Was that shade?
I was just like, maybe Livy.
I'm sorry, Livy! I forgot!
Let's not leave her behind. Though.
Yeah,
She's
I love
still there.
her. Adriana was such a sweetheart, by the way. Shout out to Adriana. Anyway, so then we have just Molly, and all the kids are just really dealing with their personal relationships that they're going on as, these young adults. And Molly right now is dealing with just wanting to be a superhero and to be this mutant and to be this vigilante. And since she doesn't have anyone who can relate to that, or she doesn't have a family, she's looking out for someone who is her biological relation, and she finds Topher, who has the same kind of colored eyes, who's like a cousin or like a brother to her, and she's like, oh my God, like an epiphany, like he's like me, so it's just like a yin and not a yin and yang, it's like a tug of war almost, if you have just finding this person who is like you and you want to ask them questions and just relate to someone. But then you have your family or the Runaways, and you just have to know you have to pick your battles, and that's what Molly's doing.
Totally. And we know that Topher was there when Molly's parents died that night.
Yeah.
With Leslie.
I know.
Looking at you, girl. What are your guys' thoughts? Because Topher, oh my gosh, he's been lying to the Runaways.
For sure.
Being shady with Nico, so what did you guys think about this whole thing?
I'm wondering if these rocks have some sort of anti-aging serum in them, because he looks exactly the same as he did when you were a kid.
Well, he is a vampire. He's the vampire of the show in the comic books. He's not he's a modern day vampire in our show. In the comic books, he was a legit vampire, blue face and everything. But in this show, I think what they wanted to see is that those rocks can emulate any kind of power, any super ability with just like your genetic mutations. So like this kid is like turning into super young, almost like a freeze frame. So that's why it's so much harder when Molly finds out that he was there at the night that his parents were killed and where she was there on the side. It's like, oh my God, a huge betrayal because he's just a liar. But an impulsive liar just because he needs his power, his strength, his dominance over the world.
Yeah, and sorry. Mina.
I just want to shout out Ivan Soto in the chat. We see you, and thank you so much for participating. He says that as a Hispanic himself, he really was glad to hear you speaking Spanish, and he wants me to ask if you liked speaking Spanish a lot this season.
Well, a mí me fascina hablar español. I love speaking Spanish. It's so much fun just to throw it in there, but I love it that we're doing it in a way that it's not like, oh, just like show pony, like, hola, ¿cómo estás? And like in the middle of a scene, it's more like, oh, she's actually communicating. This is the way that she communicates. Like, even though no one else speaks Spanish, this is the way where she keeps, her background, her heritage, because she's not ashamed of that. She's a character who loves where she comes from. Mm-hmm. So it was fun.
Well, it wasn't fun during that whole when Topher, we got to that scene in the house, lied the whole time about his family. His family, he injured his father, right? His dad.
Poor dad. He was like in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm. And then you kind of had a little mini fight scene.
Yeah.
He threw you out of the house.
He threw me out of the house,
Oh my gosh, that was insane.
And then Nico used the stab on it.
Yeah. And then, didn't Chase try to blast? I don't know. It was just,
He used the fist on the trash can.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, I was just like, Gert, why are you just sitting here? That's the moment where this is a move moment. This is you move out. You just like hop to the other side of this like car, this like English car. I'm pretty sure you can just slide on over and hop out the door. You don't have to stay in this car.
I think honestly, first of all, the scene
Gert
was
has
in
the
slow
ability to do
motion.
that.
It was in slow motion. Second of all, I think that sometimes when things like that happen, some people just become so paralyzed with fear that they can't even move.
Yeah.
So it's like what could she do in that situation? But it was just so interesting to see him still try to rescue her
At the last
his rage.
second.
It showed that redeeming quality of humanity within him, despite him being possessed by these rocks in a sense.
Yeah.
It's almost like, but it's so cool. It's like human nature. Like he knew that he still respected us because I feel like he also was yearning from a family. That's why Molly and him got along so well, because I feel like they both had a sense of like understanding each other in a way, even though he lied. But it was almost like shooting that was so funny because how you guys were saying it was so intense. Like that scene in the house when Chase was about to pick up his sister guns, he actually bumped into the wall, and then Renzi was like, "Yo, you okay?" Like it was so funny. It was really intense, but I think it was huge. It was a huge moment, especially for Molly, and it was so interesting to play with because you have that scene and then it goes into like a more meaningful scene with Ariella and Nico. It's really good.
Because I feel like with Topher's character, it kind of symbolized what addiction can do to a family.
Exactly.
And how it can tear apart. And it's just like Molly just wanted to help. And just like Gert said, you saw him for who he was, a person. You just wanted to help him. And that's what we want to do with people who are struggling with addiction.
And for sure, an addiction is like a disease, so like you can't really, even though in this show we weren't playing it as like if it was like an addiction, it was more like a possession over these superhuman, another world, another fantasy type of way. But even though it relates to a lot of those topics of like someone out there is just looking to help you, and sometimes you can't, you try so hard, but the person just push back away. So it was a really cool thing to play with so many of those aspects. Like you're also playing a fantasy world, and it's immersed with this reality and these real things that people go through every day.
Yeah. And of course, you had to throw some shade to Nico. You're becoming your mama, Nico,
I know.
with that stab. So we gotta watch out for that because that can get dark. I'm a little afraid.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see also Karolina kind of console Nico after you had your argument. Because it's funny because I feel like Karolina represents light and Nico represents darkness. And just because dark, we think of it as a bad thing, but I think darkness has redeeming qualities as well. They both kind of go hand in hand, and I think they're like yin and yang.
For sure.
That's basically what I'm trying to say.
And that's what I felt about Nico and I's relationship throughout the season. It was very yin and yang, just like I'm very positive and she's very like realistic and down to earth, ready to fight. And I think she was the mom. I love it when fans say that I'm Denora's child because it's like, it's so cute and I love them so much. But I feel like it was such a great choice for the writers and just the creators to have me kind of have someone to bounce off her energy. And Nico was a perfect one, super alpha, another alpha of her own kind, coming together and really discussing like, yo, I'm a superhero, but yo, you're a kid. Mm-hmm. And yo, I'm trying to protect you from what I've screwed up on for the past blah, blah, blah years. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool because Nico loses a sister, Amy, and I'm like there for her and she just doesn't want to lose that. And it's really cool throughout the season just to play with that, you know? It's fun.
So I have another... go ahead.
I was just say that scene between you and Nico, because it is, especially when you're the older kid and you've made your mistakes, it's almost what parents do. We always try to protect the kids from making the same mistakes that we make. Even though you were kind of right about the whole you're turning into your mom thing, it was very real at that moment because we yell at our parents for like trying to protect us. We don't want to be protected most of the time. Not knowing that after we do kind of want to be protected and we should have like kind of taken it.
For sure. And I feel like Molly at that point, she's so filled. And that's the issue. Like not the issue, but Molly is so filled with emotion at that point, like that she can't even think straight to be like, I'm just going to attack you because you just attacked something that meant a lot to me. Right. But it was more of a protection. And I feel like Molly this season, she's just ready to take it on. And I feel like that's why she's fighting with Nico because she's like, I got this. You just got to trust me and let me go and see what I can do. And that's why in episode 3, she tries to prove herself and be like, yo, like, on my own, I'm pretty cool. Like, if you just help me out, like, we could probably do this together. But since they're dealing with so much, it's like, what do you do? Like, you know? It's like that question over time.
Were you going to say something?
Yeah, so Renji90998 says, when Topher lied about finding the rocks in the terrarium, did anyone else think that the lizard might have been Old Lace?
We actually were laughing because we thought, like, where's Old Lace? So, like, we were laughing. Imagine the lizard was Old Lace.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know. But that's hilarious. That's a good theory.
That's a great theory.
Mind is blown.
Mine is blown.
My mind's also blown at the fact that Gert pretended to be Chace in episode 6.
Yeah.
You know?
That was really funny.
Oh, my gosh. She kind of did a little betrayal in a sense because she held that with information, you know, and then even Chace told her, if you want to get your meds, I would have helped you, you know? And I feel like something that I love about Gert's character is that she is someone who's struggling with a disorder, but she knows that she needs help, you know?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, continue. And she knows, and that's why it's really hard because Molly's just telling her, like, you have this, like, I'm here for you, and that's why Molly talks to Chace, because he's trying to give her advice because she's lived with Gert all these years, medicated or not, she knows that she can do it, and I think that's a hard thing because sometimes, like, the anxiety, but like Gert has a really bad case of anxiety in this show, but I feel like she's so powerful and so relentless that Molly's just seeing the good of it. Like Molly she's an optimist in the way that she always sees the good of it because of her faith in that everything's going to be okay because, like, we're family, right? Mm-hmm. So she sees Gert and she's like, yo, like, you're going to be fine without your meds. You just got to get used to the feeling. And that's what she tells Chace. It's hard, so you got to, do what you got to do. And
it's so difficult.
So many, like, different, like,
layers.
Like, so, like, this season has been, like, ooh, like, so many questions. And you're like, I don't know what to do with that. You just hit a wall every time. You're like, are they going to be answered?
And then our girl Janet, she came to pick up, you know.
Yeah.
And so Janet reunited with her son. But that was kind of a good, I know Chace didn't really like that, but it was a good thing because Janet informed him that Jonah is looking for a new sacrifice. So it was kind of, I'm glad Gert did this in a way, you know, went behind everyone's back.
I think Chace is taking all the anger out that Gert had put on him a little bit and now reversing it. So he's like, this is the time I actually get to be angry at you. Yeah. And I get to, like, soak in it. And I'm just like, dude, I need you to, like, stop soaking. It's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, I understand
Greg sulking.
That was really good.
That was a good one.
I didn't even try it. I really didn't. That was just totally a coincidence.
Hashtag Greg sulking.
However, I feel he needs to get over it. Like, he does understand what her, like, being off her meds is doing to her. Like, she didn't really mean not to let you in or not to let you help. She still hasn't figured out how to ask for it at the same time. I think that's also what great is she hasn't figured out exactly how fully to hey, I need help. I really need my meds. I am trying to be strong for Molly, for myself, for you, but it's not working.
And I think it might have felt like a jab to Chae that she made the decision to involve his mom, but I feel like if we're going to trust any of the Pride, it would be Janet. I feel like she's the one who really has the kids' best interests at heart overall, and not just their individuals.
Chae's best interests at heart, and with that, she's like, oh, I'm gonna have to protect these kids. Like, if Chae is gonna be with these kids, I have to protect them in general. But it's funny that you say that Greg is like sulking, and in a way, Chase's character is still, even though he's the oldest, and even though at the end, you know, he goes bye-bye and goes to the Pride, it's like...
We don't...
Spoilers.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Don't even worry.
Sorry.
Continue, though.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
I did not know this.
I feel like Tom Holland right now in every Marvel like interview.
Mark Ruffalo.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Don't even worry
The
about it.
snipers are
Hey,
coming.
The show's been out for literally a month.
Yeah, I
right?
know. It's so weird when it's binging. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm like, can I say that? Can I not say that? Have they seen it already? Region.
So about that season 3.
We got questions.
So Nicholas Kelly in the chat says, so what he wants to know is Topher officially dead, or are we still going to play with his pseudo-vampirism via the moon rocks?
I have no clue. That's a question. You need to ask the writers for season 3. I don't know. Just gotta wait and see.
What do you think, though?
I don't know.
Yeah, because
They left it so open.
Yeah. I don't think it's the last we've seen of him, personally.
It can't be. I feel like there's so much more that needs to be uncovered. And the fact that he was there when Molly...
Her parents died.
Yeah. I feel like there's something missing there. And a critical piece of evidence that's just going to be, like, the missing piece of the puzzle with Molly's past.
We got to still figure out, like, how you survived that, you know?
know.
Like, what was this connection?
I feel like he saved her. I genuinely feel like he might have
theory.
been involved. And that's why there's some sort of, like, unspoken bonds between you guys.
For me personally, what I'm noticing is that I feel like Topher, after that, for me, this is my theory. After Topher saw that explosion, he found the rocks, he just glue, and he ran off into his power. I think Molly, after that, I don't know what have happened to her. I feel like we still have to find out what happened to Molly after. But I feel like either the Yorks or the parents, but I feel like she kind of powered up. But that's a question we need to ask for season 3, knock on wood, is like, is she a mutant? Is she
inhuman? That's another theory.
Is she invulnerable, like in the comics? Like, and I feel like the fans want to see that because it's so true to the comic books. It's so true to Molly's DNA, and I feel like there's so much possibilities, and that's why, like season 2 just happened the way it did because I don't know. It left so many open ways for season 3.
Is Topher immortal though? That's the part that I'm not clear about.
I don't know. I have no clue about.
Yeah.
I have no clue. I feel like I think those rocks. I don't know.
I don't know if it's just
Making immortality.
anti-aging.
Well,
or
I think it's anti-aging personally because if you're going based on the comics, after he was killed, he was killed. Like he wasn't revitalized, and then we met Victor Mancha.
Yeah.
So think about. I don't know. That's what I think about. I'm like, I just go through the comics. I just go to the book.
I know.
I'm just like, we're also we're such geeks about this on set. When we get a script, we just like we're in a text message and we're like, oh my god, did you see this? Did you see this? The reference. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, that's what's so exciting about the show because you get to expand upon the comments and
For
really
sure.
flesh it out, which is so exciting, especially probably for Brian K. Vaughan.
Yeah.
Well, I have to ask y'all about the Pride. What are your thoughts on the Pride at this point? Because we thought Robert was dead. Remember when Robert
I legit wrote killed. And like quotations.
R.I.P. Rest in power,
Rest in
Robert.
power.
Robert, he tried his best to
He
go
almost
after
did
Jonah.
it though too. Like I gotta give up. That was actually really smart. Give it up.
But do you guys think that Robert and the Pride should trust Jonah at this point? Because like Jonah's kind of like, look, he's kind of at his end.
At his worst.
Yeah.
He's like begging
so
for help.
weak. So what are your guys' thoughts on should the Pride just join Jonah and just help get that ship up and going?
You see, I'm trying to like think of things not in the context of good or bad, but in personal interest, right? Because we all have characterized Jonah as bad, But is Jonah bad, or does Jonah have an obligation to his people the way that the Pride has an obligation to their people and to their kids? Because we don't automatically label the Pride as bad, because we know everything they've done has been in the best interest of their kids. Everything Jonah has done has been in the best interest of his people. So, in a way, we're assuming that Jonah is a bad person, and we're assuming that two worlds can't coexist, when in fact maybe they actually can, and maybe there's a way to have these two worlds merge together.
That's
that was
perfectly
so
said,
beautiful.
because I also feel like I completely understand where you're coming from. He's doing the best he's doing for his people, for his family, and for Karolina. So that's 3 motives right there. And that's initially what the Pride says, what the Pride is doing. They're trying to help. That's why I think the whole point of the show is that we don't really have a villain yet. So I feel like that's something that could happen in season 3. Is that if we get like a true villain to come into the show, because the families are just doing what's best for their children, and Jonah's just doing best for Karolina. Even though he could be selfish in his own power, he's just doing it because he's been there for a long time. He's like, I gotta figure this out, I don't know. That could be a really interesting question, because I feel like we haven't really established a villain, even though Jonah was villainized in a way just because of his character and because he was new. Like,
and because he looks evil.
Well,
like,
because, he does. He actually looks like he's peeling. It's all over the place. But I feel like we tend to attack the thing that's new. But if it's, like, not misunderstood. So he's very much misunderstood. He's still evil. He killed so many children. Let's not forget about that part. But, like, he's just doing what's best for the children. I feel like we need to find a real villain and go back to, like, how Marvel comics and Marvel movies do. Like, they bring a villain, you gotta attack it, and you gotta go, you gotta buy, and you become a superhero, you become a man and a woman, you know?
I almost feel if Jonah's character had died, that would be worse off for everyone, because there would be so many unanswered questions that where do they go from there if the world is going to eventually end? I feel like Jonah has to be kept alive in a sense, almost as like an object of study, just so that they can get the answers to save the world, if that really is their end goal or their mission.
Yeah, I don't want to see them kill Jonah, but I think they need to knock him down a level, because he's pulling all the strings, and I would love to see someone like Robert pulling the strings, or particularly Janet, and I feel like she's getting there. I'm a fan of Janet. She's the only one in the Pride I truly, truly trust. But I feel like I keep also pulling at strings for a reason to find Jonah redeemable. And I just can't, because I think character comes down to what do you do when you're at your worst? How do you treat others? Exactly. And he results to killing other people.
Exactly.
Which, isn't the best.
Kidnapping Jeffrey.
Oh my God.
And he acts out and he hurts people and he gets so angry and vicious.
Yeah.
I love that statement about characters, like what you do at your worst or when no one is watching.
And how you treat the people who are below you. And he has these powers that are innate. It's like Molly has powers that are innate. But for other people like Chase, it's something external to him.
Exactly.
But the powers that Jonah has, he can leverage above other people. And he's doing that constantly as it suits him.
And I agree with that. I really do want to like Jonah sometimes. I really do. Because it's like she was saying, he's doing it for his people, so you can actually find the reason behind, okay, I can connect with you, at least on that front. But it's also what you said, what you do at your worst and how you treat people is a test of who you are as a person. And you saying you don't need Jeffrey and Catherine no more just to turn around and kill Jeffrey and Catherine, okay? Because firstly, you killed the dude at the gym. Why didn't you just take him? What was the point of actually going to get Jeffrey? I feel like that's my reason. I need to understand, why did you get Jeffrey? Why did you have to kill the kid?
Well, I think he killed Jeffrey for him to be the new sacrifice.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get the whole sacrifice thing.
Because he was desperate. Boy was desperate. He was scaly.
Okay, but you couldn't get the dude you just knocked out with the weight? Like, I'm just saying, you
I feel like
you have to go to that extreme for me.
I feel like for Jonah, he's just so impulsive. And he'll just attack something firsthand. He's like an animal. He'll just go for something and just get it when he's at his worst. And but I feel like for me, I think that the reason why he might have gotten Jeffrey is because he's like Jeffrey's a big, strong man, and he's very capable of taking down anyone. He's always ready, prepared. He has a strong mindset, and that's where Alex gets a lot of his, innate ability, and his mom. Is a lot of reasons Alex get his ability to be super hyper intelligent and super knowledgeable. So I feel like Jonah's going for a prey, but like the best prey, like there is like the finest meat, like it's like if you think about it, it's like it's just perfect. It's organic, it's like there for him to grab. So I feel like he's just going for the best option. So I think he just killed that guy out of impulse, and then he got Jeffrey, and he was like, "This is the guy. He's super strong, and I can have his, his juice of whatever health." Thing,
especially since he knew that the Wilders weren't in his favor anyway. So he's like, you're expendable, basically. For me. And it worked out for the Runaways and Alex, because now y'all got Jeffrey on your side.
In a straight jacket.
Yes. So we're gonna have some fun with that. But I also just love this episode because I love seeing the Runaways work together. Now, finally ran away, but now you have to be this cohesive unit. Despite the struggles that you have with the parents butting in and whatnot. But things are about to go down.
Yeah.
After everything worked out successfully, Karolina with her light show. Woo!
Those are so pretty, by the way.
Oh my god, I love it.
It's like the northern lights up in the church.
It's like the Aureolis. Yeah,
Aurora Borealis. There's your science lesson for the day.
The more you know. The episode 6 ends with Karolina confessing to Nico that she's been seeing Jonah. She also spills some more tea about Jonah was the one who killed Amy.
I know.
Mic drop.
Did you see her face the moment she told her? It's just like in
it was
peril.
stone cold.
Was just stone cold, like lifeless. Like everything got out. It was a switch.
So we already know episode 7 is going to be crazy. The chat's already saying, Mina, what did they say about it?
The chat's basically saying you are not ready for episode 7 at all yet.
Don't tell us. I don't want to be
People are also saying that Molly is a gifted, kind of like the show going on right now, that's what she can be compared to. People asking if she's a mutant.
And good questions. I would like to know too.
And everyone's like commenting about Nico's look of death. LOL.
Oh my god!
Yeah, just the stone. No,
seriously, it's gonna be like Jonah's about to die. That was the face.
She's about to be going off with that stuff.
Someone needs to make a meme of like that moment where she turns her face from like really happy to like stone cold, and just put the Lotto song "Stone Cold," and then you can play it.
Or the Kill Bill theme.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Oh man.
Well, was it just me or did anybody else love Frank in these 2 episodes?
Oh.
Frank was everything. Like the whole Shining comment. I'm just like, I'm falling more in love with you now, Frank, just a little bit because you're funny and you're hilarious.
I'm still mad at Frank for going to Jonah in the first place and ratting out the kids. I was absolutely shocked. I think he's power hungry. I think he's upset because Leslie's always worn the pants in the relationship and the family, and Karolina's not really his kid, and he's like, well, screw it, I'll take the church.
We gotta watch him because he's not in the pride, obviously, so he's doing something because he wants power. He's power
hungry, but I don't think he's making smart. I think the difference between him and Leslie is I don't really like Leslie either, but I think she knows what she's doing, and I think he has no idea what he's getting into.
I also think that the fact that none of the members of Pride are actually being openly communicative and honest with each other is why they haven't made as much progress as they could. And it's the same exact thing that's going on with the Runaways.
Yeah. No.
Each person is trying to figure out this piece of the puzzle individually instead of being clearly open and honest and saying, this is what I'm figuring out. Yeah. I know this may go against your beliefs, but I have to do this for me and for us.
Exactly.
And instead of coming together as a unit and saying, this is what we're doing, they could have made so much progress
and
by now.
I feel like that's what Molly's is pushing for. She's like, I want to be a superhero. Let's go fight this. Let's just accomplish this now. Because if now we have so many things to figure out. So many of the lovey-dovey stuff that we have to figure out. Obviously, it's human nature. But Molly's like, I'm a superhero. I'm a born superhero. You could do that too. And you're trying to train us. Let's go. Let's kick ass. And let's just create this whole new world where we could just live up to ourselves. And that's where she's fighting against everyone. And that's why she does feel isolated from the whole Runaways, because she has a completely different mentality than all of the other ones, because she's not in this relationship, but she's also ready for a relationship with the world.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
Yeah.
She's just ready to take it on.
Y'all just need to have a kumbaya moment.
Kumbaya.
Throw some marshmallows on a fire or something.
I feel like Molly had that
open up.
with Gert, and that's what I love so much, was that conversation when Gert was telling you how much integrity you have and how you've
I
like
love that scene.
fully like blossomed and turned into like you're turning into an adult and you're maturing. I thought it was so beautiful. And
Molly's
every
like the most mature
scene,
one out of all.
and every scene in which you cry, it's like such an authentic performance and so
thank you.
powerful. I think you're doing an incredible job on this show.
Thank you guys.
You really
I
are.
appreciate it.
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
curious if you kind of like knowing what you know and looking at it from an outsider perspective could go in and give Molly advice, what would you tell her?
It's so hard. That's such a good question because I feel that Molly and I are very similar, but I feel like she needs to just breathe and just really take it all in. Because if right now she's dealing with her own motives, her own goals, she needs to understand why other people aren't listening to her. And I got a great note as an actress from Larry Tang, who directed episode 3. He's like, what makes Molly so smart is that she knows how to talk to adults and get them to listen to her. And I feel like sometimes she loses that because she's talking not to adults, she's talking to teens who are just older, who are acting as though they're her parents. So she has to talk to them in a way where they can understand what she's feeling, and that's what happens towards, the end. I'm not going to spoil anything again, but towards the end, it's just like to realize that the youth have so much power in what they're saying, and especially coming from a girl who, is naturally street smart. And I feel like I would love season 3 to play with Molly's natural street smart because she's just very capable of it. So I think my advice would be just breathe and take it in and listen.
That's
Definitely.
awesome. I think it's so interesting because Molly knows the least about where she comes from, but she also seems to know herself the best.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, we usually do a special segment, but we're running a little low on time. We usually do our comic book corner, but that's totally fine. Allegra, you're here, so we have this perfect opportunity to ask you more questions.
Let's do it.
So this is all about Allegra Acosta right now.
Oh, wow.
So we're doing the new segment. So my question for you, because I remember when you were here last year.
Yes.
You were like, I want a fight scene. I remember that specifically. And you
I just want to fight somebody.
Exactly. And you finally got one in episode 2. You shared it with Nico.
Yes.
It was episode 2, right? Nico.
Yes.
Karolina,
So it was you, Lyrica, Brittany, and Virginia. So how was that for you, with the combat and just being in the moment?
Well, it was so much fun. I remember it was a small rehearsal because it wasn't a huge fight. It was just a more power-induced, emotional fight. But I thought that was I had a stunt double who actually was flung from the air into the water. And I had the cool thing is that they let me do all the water stuff because I used to be a swimmer, and it was just really fun to do the scuba training before in the pool, scuba in the pool, and just hold my breath and pretend to punch. I remember holding it for a while, and they're the stunt double came up to me after, and she was tired. She was like, "Oh my God, you actually hold your breath for a long time," and I'm like, "Thank you." But it was so much fun, and I just love, I love, the pool and the ocean, so it was just fun to, be in the water and be ooh, I'm in the water and I'm shooting a show. It was just really fun.
Nice. Any more questions you got going? Any from the chat that you guys are seeing?
If there is a season 3, would you like Molly to have a relationship, her own personal one?
That's really cool to say because I feel like she's coming into this, she's coming of age in a way. I've said this a while because a lot of fans brought it up to me, and also with the new comics, I would love for the introduction, for an introduction of Molly to have a relationship within someone who's like her, if it was Victor Mancha per se, to have these young 2 superheroes come together and just that'd be cool. That'd be cool to play with because I've never had to play with that on set before, and I would have a relationship. Maybe they'll listen to me now that I'm in a relationship.
But only if Victor's headless.
Just petting him and being oh God.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
If there were any side characters you could have be on the show more, who would you want to be on?
If I could cross over the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I would love Shuri from Black Panther because I feel like her and I would just bond and we would just, I don't know, because I love some of these characters Spider-Man. It would be so cool to have Tom Holland in there because it's just youth, or Miles Morales if he was a live action character. Oh, so many.
Possibilities.
I know some
endless,
people are
though.
hoping for Cloak and Dagger to cross over.
Cloak and Dagger, yes.
Dude.
Well, I love Olivia and Aubrey. They're so sweet, and
It's coming.
that would be cool.
That's my prediction.
It's
for
cool.
the week. That's my prediction. For
I
the
think
week.
within the show it would be hilarious to have Eiffel on more.
Oh,
Yes.
Because I love that one scene where she's talking to the Pride and brought her
Oh
lawyer.
my gosh! First of all, you're like 16, 17. You have your own like two person. You don't even have one. You have two. Do I need like a lawyer? Do I get immunity for this? I love her essence. Like I love like even though you want to hate Eiffel, sometimes you just gotta love the spirit of who she is. As
Like
a
if she
person.
was like on a hike up to the Hollywood sign and she runs into the house and somehow got involved in all the madness. Oh
like
my
what are
God.
you guys doing here? Like
This is gross.
I love
how the mighty have fallen.
I love the imaginary shopping scene. Like 1 second, I have to imaginary online shop. Okay.
Hashtag stop Eiffel. Are there any more questions before we move on?
I asked if there are any more questions for Molly here. People are like really excited in the chat. There, some Ivan said I think Runaways is kind of like a light show. And they were like arguing about how the MCU and the Gifted are not connected, and that it's called
Fox, right?
Yeah, it's called like something other than being gifted. I forgot what it's called, like what Molly's character would be called in that universe.
No.
But people are excited. Like they're excited that you're here. Happy birthday!
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you for answering all the
Totally.
questions so
Thank
like
you.
in depth for all of us.
Yeah, and if you have any more questions, you can always tweet her. You know, just like hit her up. She's there to answer you. So let's get to our predictions real quick. You know, fire some predictions. Some theories.
Don't you love that?
AfterBuzz TV.
It's a little spooky.
Oh, one of our AfterBuzz people said, "Tell Allegra she's a queen." So you're a queen.
Thank you. I love you too.
All right, quick predictions. Let's do this. Who's up first? Megan? Chae?
I'm ready. I think Topher is still alive 100%. And I think that Molly and Topher really balance each other out really well in the same way that Nico and Karolina do, in the sense that you're kind of harnessing the powers more for good, and he doesn't really have a hold of them. So I'd love to see that relationship develop and to see his backstory develop too.
Okay.
My prediction is it's gonna be ridiculous. The next, I'm not
Probably.
even ready. I'm really terrified because of just Nico's look, and I'm just like it's gonna go down.
Yeah.
I do want to see more of Janet. I want to see how she's gonna use her knowledge with Victor's help because she got him out of the tube, which is like, come on, Queen. Yes, let's do it. I want to see more of Janet.
Happy birthday to you.
So sweet.
Happy birthday
to
you. Happy birthday, dear Allegra. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. So sweet. I'm gonna blow a candle. I'm narrating everything.
Yes.
Yay! Oh, thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
Oh, you guys are always so sweet.
Yeah, we'll have fun with that later.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So
Sorry about that. Podcast
Thank
people.
you. Thank you.
Allegra
Appreciate
just
it.
we just surprised her with a cake because it was her birthday last month. So yeah. So sorry about that. We interrupted our predictions.
Emmy, you guys are so sweet. Oh my God.
Mina, what are your predictions? Real quick.
I think that there's going to be a point where the Runaways become more authentic with each other, just because they're going to keep running into the same problems until they all fess up. And I think there's going to be a moment where Karolina's like, yeah, guys, I went to the dig site and this happened. And then someone else is going to say, yeah, I did this on my own. Yeah, I did this. And it's going to be this thing like, okay, guys, we really need to work together. I feel like there's going to be one of those moments. I wish I could say the same for the Pride, but I don't think the Pride is going to open up in the same way with each other. And I think that's what's going to hold them back. And I think, I don't even know what's going on with Frank, but I don't want to know anymore.
I'm watching you, Frank. Y'all just need to start like a group text or something, make things easier for yourself. I think the only thing that I'm predicting is that Nico is pissed. And she's gonna go after Jonah now that she knows the tea, you know. So people in the chat are saying like episode 7's crazy. So I'm like, we're like halfway through the season. How is this already like? We already know this is like about to go down.
I think honestly, there's so much power now because of the staff.
For sure.
And I think
It's like-
Nico's knowledge of that power mixed with her fury is going to be a very volatile combination. That's all I have to say. I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
I am
She's gonna pull a
excited to
Tina.
see.
Oh my God. Before we leave, though, we have to let you know to please enter our giveaway. We have a signed comic book.
Beautiful.
So beautiful. It is
The hard copy.
The Good Die Young. So Chae, spill some tea on how you can win this comic and other prizes real quick.
So how you can win this comic and other prizes is, if you're watching us right now on YouTube, leave a comment with a 5-star and a comment of why you love the show so much, because we know you do because you're watching us right now. If you're listening to us on iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating, because we have to have your username to be able to reach you at the end to give you the prize. We will be shipping everything to you guys, whoever wins, but you have to be here in the United States. I do not do international shipping. You know, I love you, internationals, but I can't ship to you. I don't have the money. But yeah, that's how you're going to win. Is we have a lot of prizes to give away. This is the grand prize, but you know, we have some little tricks up our own sleeves you're going to be super happy with if you win one.
And I think Allegra is going to sign it, maybe.
I was about to ask, can I sign it?
Yes, totally. It's going to be amazing, but we have to wrap up now, unfortunately. Allegra, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. I appreciate it.
You're
I just want to
amazing.
say everyone in AfterBuzz who's listening right now, thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure. Where can we find you on social media, and have any other projects coming up that you'd like to plug?
I just want to let you guys know that my Instagram is Allegra Acosta and Twitter Allegra Acosta. This kink keeps falling. I'm so sorry. I keep
You're
on
fine.
fidgeting
You're
with
so fine.
it. No, just stay tuned. There's so many more fun projects I have coming up.
Cannot wait. Panel, my wonderful panel, where can we find you on social media?
Hey everyone, I'm Mina Wahab. You can find me on Instagram at Mina Makes Magic, or go to my website, minamakesmagic.com.
Hey guys, you can find me at Real Chae Jones on Twitter and Instagram. Tomorrow, Good Trouble. And on Sundays now, I'm doing Black Monday, and it is crazy.
Yes, y'all can also catch me on
we're-
Good Trouble tomorrow.
we
Very
love each
excited
other.
for that. Yes, we do. And y'all can find me at Meagan Lynn TV. Send me your theories about the show. I'm really curious.
Yes, and I'm Ollie Drennan. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ollie Dreamer, and check me out on the RuPaul's Drag Race after show on AfterBuzz TV on Sundays. Allegra, thank you so much. It's such a joy to have you. And again, until then, we will cover episodes 7 and 8 tomorrow. We have another special guest.
Yes, we do.
We love you, Runaways. Until next time.
Bye guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.